Thank you for joining us today on A Certain Sound. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that there is ever a time when God will allow you to have your own self-willed way? I do believe so. In fact, there are 3 kings here in 2 Kings chapter 3, 2 of which, one in particular, the king of Israel, Elisha has something to say. In 2 Kings chapter 3, beginning with verse 13, he says this, "And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do with you? Go to the prophets of your father and your mother." In other words, the king of Israel said to Elisha, "We need help. What should we do? We need a word from the Lord." Elisha says, "You've rejected God. You've rejected me, his spokesman. If you want a word, go back to those false prophets of your mommy and daddy and see what they've got to tell you." But notice what he says in verse 14. Elisha said, "As the Lord of hosts liveth before whom I stand, surely, were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look at you, towards you, or even see you. I wouldn't give you the time of day." Whew. What's that saying? Well, that's saying that after you've rejected God so much, God will let you have your way. Because he's got nothing to say to them after a while. After so much rejection, what happens? God says, if that's the way you want it, then that's the way it's going to be. He'll let you have your way. Now, that's what he did with Israel. That doesn't mean Jehoshaphat, isn't going to get a word from the Lord, because he is. Now, the point I want to make is Pharaoh in the book of Exodus hardened his heart. Then the Bible says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. But the truth is that God doesn't harden Pharaoh's heart until Pharaoh hardens his own heart. It says he hardened, and finally God says, "All right, I'm going to fix it then. If that's the way you want it, I'm going to let you have your own way." Let me just say today, friends, we do not want to get to that point in our Christian experience or any experience. We don't want that. You take a look at a guy named Balaam. He was a quote-unquote prophet. Not a good one. But anyway, this guy named Balak come to him, a king, said, "I want you to curse the people of God, Israel." He says, "I can't do that." And so he says, "Look, I'll give you $50. I'm just making up a number." And Balaam says, "Let me go ask God." No, there you go. And he comes back and he says, "I can't do it. God said no." He says, "I'll give you 75. Again, I'm just making up the number. I'll give you something bigger, 75. He says, "Well, let me go ask God again." So he goes to ask God and he says no. He says, "Well, I'm going to give you some more." And finally he goes back to God and God says, "All right, do it." Hey. And so Balaam does it. And we all know that what came out was not cursing, but blessing, proving that God overrode it. But the truth of the matter is this. There is a point in time, if we will insist on having our own way, God will acquiesce and allow you to have it. And here's Balaam going to curse Israel, and his donkey stops in the middle of the road because an angel is standing right there, and Balaam doesn't see the angel. You will reach a point in your experience where you will not see God trying to stop you. You won't see the angel in the road, and you'll get mad at the donkey that you're riding upon. You'll get mad at other people because they've stopped and tried to warn you. And what does he do? He beats his donkey, and finally his donkey starts talking. This is a great story. The truth of the matter is, friends, finally Balaam says, okay, I won't do it. But the angel of the Lord said to him, "Oh, yes, you will." And he had to go. You see, friends, if we insist, God will let us have our own way. But it won't be to our favor, but it will probably be to our detriment.
Thank you for watching A Certain Sound Daily Video Devotional. Be sure to sign up for the iTunes podcast or daily email of A Certain Sound when you visit us online at www.acertainsound.com. A Certain Sound is a ministry of Word of Truth Christian Center in Bowling Green, Ohio. On behalf of Word of Truth Christian Center, I'm Sonetta. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.